Last night, I recorded a dream of mine that I had last night, and for some reason, it did not save on my phone, so I'll have to do this again. But last night, this morning, right before I woke up, I had a really interesting dream. It kind of reminds me of those inspirational YouTube videos that you see about humans, um good, good thoughts about human beings and stuff like that. Well, this is one that I had last night, which I want to record because I don't want to forget it. And the dream was about a restaurant owner. He's now it could go either way. The owner could either have been in business for a while, but business started to slack a lot because of the economy and stuff like that, and it wasn't as many people coming into the restaurant. Or it could be a new restaurant owner, owner who always wanted to own his own restaurant. He went to the culinary arts, and there was this big dream of his. Opened the restaurant, and no one ever showed up. And he watches the people walking by. His restaurant is a heavy foot traffic in front, but no one actually comes into the restaurant. And he has to tell his staff one day, well, we're going to have to close our shop. We're not, making good business, and, nothing. So the restaurant owner, he's going to close a shop, and there is these two homeless people, a couple, homeless, and and you can see them out there begging for money and stuff like that. And one day, the couple decides to patronize the restaurant, and it was really late. The restaurant's about to close. It was one day from being closed for good. Like they're going out of business like the next day, and the homeless person walks in with his wife, and I mean they're a married couple, the homeless people, and he says, "Hey, I only got like $8. What can you do for my wife and I? We really need to eat. We've been noticing your restaurant the whole time. We just decided to actually, come in here and get some eat. Say, I mean, we all got is $8. What can can you give us anything, whatever the cost, we're willing to pay, whatever." And the restaurant owner was like, have a seat. And he seats them down. And keep in mind that this is the restaurant owner's first customer, either in a very long time or first customer ever, let's just say. So he goes in the back. He lets the staff go because he knows it's no business. And he decides to go back there and cook a wonderful meal, a full-on meal that probably would have cost like 30, 40, or $50, and fixed them a fantastic soul food meal. And then after the end of the meal, the homeless couple was like, "Okay, well, all we got is $8. We want to pay you. I mean, this is we're really grateful, but at the same time, we really want to pay you." And the owner was like, "No, that was on me. Go ahead and have a good day. In fact, go ahead and take some sweet tea with you on the way out, so you have something to drink. So you make some both a large cup of sweet tea." And they leave. Okay. So now, the very next day, the homeless couple, they go out and promote the restaurant. They stop all the cars and say, instead of begging for money, they literally, go up to the cars and all the people in the street and tell the people about that restaurant. And they tell every single body, you got to go to that restaurant. You got to go to that restaurant. And that next day, while the owner, had a staff meeting with all of the staff, and it's like, "Hey, this is the last day. Sorry, folks. Let's just make the best of it, and you'll have your final checks next week. Whatever." And what happened was when they opened the doors, there were three people standing there. He was like, "Interesting." So he let the three people in. Pretty soon, more people showed up, and more people showed up. And then all of a sudden, he had a restaurant full of people. And he looks outside the window, and he sees that very same homeless couple that cleaned up just a little bit. They cleaned up a little bit, and they were out there promoting the restaurant, even still. Before you know it, the restaurant was full of people. paying and tipping left and right. And the staff was like, wow, we are busy. We are getting tips, you know? They were very happy about this. And the owner was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So then he realized what happened and went out to that homeless couple. They were resting up, you know, from all that walking and talking and stuff. And he says to the homeless people, come inside for a second, and fixes them another meal. But instead of just a meal, he tells them, I'm going to pay for a hotel for you two tonight. I want you to get cleaned up and come to work for me. The black the black man, you know, the homeless couple, shaves all his beard off and his hair. I mean, literally near bald headed, and comes to work the next day and becomes a chef or a sous chef for the restaurant. The restaurant owner is like executive chef. You know, he's the chef of his own restaurant, but he becomes his sous chef. And you can see him back there cutting up vegetables and onions and just happy and grateful to finally have a job that he can call him, you know, call his own. Um, the homeless lady becomes because she's so great at marketing and stuff. He shows the owner how to do Facebook, and then they're like, well, you know, computers? Yeah. Well, that's because she was an engineer before. And he was also an engineer, and they both got laid off. So that's the whole story. Is that, and she becomes the, you know, the person that greets the people at the door. You know, and also does the promotions and marketing for the restaurant. So that's the end of the story. Pay it forward. You know what I'm saying? And the restaurant does good. Peace.